And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. There we go. Okay, welcome to live Python office hours for October 9th. At least it's October 9th here where I'm at in Tokyo, Japan. Basically what this is open office hours. If you have any questions about Python, let me know. I'll try to help you out. Especially I'm really focusing on beginners. People who are just kind of getting started with Python. It's a really critical time in a coder's existence because a lot of times, people are interested in coding and they run into that first problem, they can't get past it, and they give up. That's a really sad thing, so I'm here to help with that. So I don't really have anything planned beyond just answering questions. If you do have some code or questions about code, it'd be great if you could share it via pastebin.com. And if you go there, you can paste your code and share the link in the chat, and we can all download it and try it out and run it from there. Because that'll, just makes it really, really convenient to test other people's code. So like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of maybe start doing a little turtle programming until I get a question. I do like doing the turtle stuff. So here we go. So if you've never used the turtle module before, it's really, really cool. It lets you do a lot of cool stuff with graphics in a very simple manner. It's designed for children, actually, based on the old Logo language. So I'm going to import the turtle module, and I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to set up my window, turtle.screen, and that's just the basic command to that. I'm going to make a title for my window. I'm going to call it, let's see, Tokyo EdTech, Python office hours. And, oops, parentheses, I'm going to say win.bg color. I like the background color black, which is always the color I like to use. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to try win.mainLoop. And I think it might not work because of the Python version. Let's give it a shot here. Probably going to get an error. Yeah, the main loop is the problem. If you're on Python 3, so I'm going to say try. So basically what we'll do is we'll try this. And if it doesn't work, we'll try this. Okay, so it tries this. This is actually the Python 3 version. And if you're on Python 2, it'll fail. And then it'll try this version instead. Christian, that is great news. Your first game with... which tutorial was it, Christian? Kind of curious. Because I got a bunch of tutorials. Okay, so that's that. And there is my window. So that is how we make it work for Python 3. And I'll put a little comment there so you know what that is. So Python 3.x, and this is Python 2.7 probably. Okay, so just type in here to Christian. So we have we have the same name. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and make some turtles. So I'm going to make a new turtle. Actually, I'm going to make a bunch of turtles. I'm going to say for underscore. We can just use an underscore in range, and let's make 25 turtles. Okay. So I'm going to say new turtle, and I didn't have to type new turtle here. I could have just typed T, but I like to make my code really clear. Notice the Python convention. We use an underscore between words. We don't use camel casing like say in Java. And I'll say turtle.turtle. Notice the turtle. Notice the capitalization here. Small t, because that's the same as the module. And capital T, because this is the class name. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. But it's just information for people that do get that part. And so a couple things I can do here. I'm going to say speed 0. And what that actually does is changes the animation speed, which is very important. Doesn't change how we move it on the screen. Okay, Christian, Space Invaders. Yeah, Space Invaders is my most popular tutorial. Yeah, it's been going strong for like years. I don't quite know why, but people really seem to like that. So I'm just going to put that link here for people that haven't seen that. And it's worth visiting. I would actually say probably Pong is a better one to do now, just because it's written a little bit better, and I think I explain it better. But yeah, Space Invaders is a classic. yeah, if I didn't know it was going to be so popular, I would have, you know, done a little better job with it. So anyway, but yeah, so I made my new turtle up here, and I'm going to say new turtle.color. We'll just make it green for now, and we're going to change that around in a few minutes. New turtle.shape, and I want to make the shape into a turtle. There are actually 5 built-in shapes. There's turtle, triangle, circle, square, and arrow, which just basically looks like a squat triangle. And then let's see what else we do here. New turtle.shape. What can we do here? I'm missing something here. Well, let's run it and see what happens. So I'll try and keep that on the screen for now. So, and okay, so you see here I've got a turtle. Now, I told you earlier I was making 25 turtles, but you only see one because they're all on top of each other. So what I can do is I'm going to actually use the random module, say import random. And Christian, you've inspired me. Oh, geez. Christian, that's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that. You know, I need to learn C++, so maybe you can teach me. That would be like a nice way to, you know, kind of, I don't know, pay it forward or pay it back. I don't know how you put it there. So I'm going to use the random module. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new turtle.goto. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's say x equals random.randint, and we'll say minus 250, 200, and I'll explain this in a second. Y equals random.randint, let's say minus 250, oops, 50 comma 250, 250. So what this does is the random module with randint, not rangint, gives us a random number from negative 250 to 250. So the screen is about 600 wide by 600 tall, and the center is 0, 0. So 300, 300, minus 300, and minus 300. Or it might be actually minus 300. I can't remember now. But I think this is plus and this is minus. So random new turtle.goto xy. So that should send each turtle to a random spot. So let's test that out. Okay, and it is working. But I have 2 screens, so it keeps popping up on the wrong screen. So I got 25 turtles. They started in the center. You see how they're drawing lines. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to do, before I go somewhere, I'm going to say new turtle.penup. Okay, so let's try that again. And I'll try to be a little faster about pulling that up. Okay, so you can see how it created 25 turtles. Now, they're not doing a lot, so let's go ahead and do something. So, okay, so create turtles. Now, one thing I want to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and make a list of turtles. And this is how you make a list. This is an empty list. And a list is kind of like an array, you might have called it in other languages. And so what I want to do with each turtle is I'm going to say turtles.append new turtle. So what I've done is I've created a list of turtles. So now what I can do is I can do for turtle in I don't want to do turtle, for t in turtles. We'll say t.fd. Let's see. Let's do 25. And we'll see t.lt. So turtle.left. 30. Let's try that. So watch what happens here. So if you haven't done this type of thing before. So there's my turtle. Oh, it's too fast. Okay. So I'm going to put this inside of a loop so it just keeps doing it. So I'm going to say while true. Capital T in Python. Yeah. Hey, thanks, OG. Appreciate that. Very nice of you to say. Thanks. Yeah, glad to hear that. I do appreciate kind comments. Yeah, I make these videos for my students, but I'm really happy that people in other places around the world have found them interesting. So let's see here. Yeah. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this out, pop the chat out. The screen's kind of empty over there. So this way it's a little easier to see, I think, for everybody. Yeah, so now this is just going to keep repeating over and over so we can kind of get an eye view of what's going on here. So forward, turn, forward, turn, forward, turn, forward, turn. Yeah, so far so good. Now again, that's a little bit slow. So what we need to do is a couple commands. So right after we make the window, I'm going to say win.tracer 0. I'm not going to run that because I'm worried it'll lock up my computer. It might not, but I don't want to take the chance. So what this does is it stops the window from updating. So that means you'll see no changes, which is not what we want. So what we got to do is inside the while true loop, we have to do win.update. So that manually updates it. And this just makes it much, much faster because it's on the right schedule. You know, we do all the changes, then it updates. Do all the changes, then updates. So if we don't do this, what happens is, you know, while it's updating, while this is changing, this is happening as well. It's a bit complicated to explain, but that's the gist of it. So let's try that and see what now it happens. Oh my gosh! So now you can see how much faster that is, which is wow, that's crazy fast. So let's do a couple different things here. Let's try and let's make a bunch of different colors. I did this on my last one as well. So let's do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and these are just the colors of the rainbow, violet, as I learned them as a child. Okay. So here where we say color is green, what we're going to do is I'm going to say color equals random.choice and colors. Okay. So again, we're using the random module, which we used here. It was imported up here. We're using the choice method. And what it does is it takes a list, in this case colors, and just gives us a random item each time. So let's go ahead and run that and see what the effect was. Nothing. What did I do wrong? I got to put color in here. Not in the quotes, no quotes this time because it's a variable. Okay, well, that's getting a little more interesting. Okay, so I've got 25 turtles. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this pen up. I'm going to let the turtles draw lines. See what that does. That might be a little bit more interesting to us. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. And it slowed things down because we're doing a lot more drawing. Okay, so basically if you can see what's going on here, okay, we've got 25 turtles. Okay, like I said, 0 is the animation speed. Wow, it's kind of mesmerizing, isn't it? And we move them to a random spot on the screen, and then we put them onto this list of turtles. Then in our while true loop, which just keeps repeating over and over and over again, we update the screen, and then for each turtle, we move it forward 25 and left 30. So that gives us this shape. So let me just do a couple things. Let's change some of these numbers around. Let's make forward 50, and let's do 178, because that's kind of a neat effect, if I recall correctly. So I'm going to close that. And again, feel free to comment, or, you know, like I said, I usually don't just do a tutorial. I just kind of, you know, I want to answer your questions, because you must have some, which is why you're here, I hope. So I'm going to run that again and see what the changes are. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, so it's moving pretty fast. So maybe let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's go 150, see what happens. So right now I'm just kind of playing with the numbers. It's just, I enjoy this. Oh, that's pretty nifty. Okay, so that's what that does. Interesting. Now I could do some other things. Let's see. What I might do is I might use this again and copy that over. Now put that outside a loop. Dude, make a turtle out of the turtle module. I could do that, I suppose, but honestly, I'm not that artsy. So instead of new turtle, I'm going to do T. Actually, no, I can't do that. Okay, I see what I got to do. Is we want to do that. Move. Let's try it, see what happens. but this is going to have to be indented. So it's inside that loop. I don't know if this is going to be a good effect, but I'm going to give it a shot. John, I am just playing around right now. Here's what it looks like so far. Oh, that's pretty cool. So those are just all the turtles just jumping around. Yeah, it's kind of funky. Yeah, I like playing with the turtle module. I really find it, you know, just fun to do, and just playing with numbers and making it do different things. But let's get rid of that. I didn't really care for that. So what we can do, let's try random.randint again. And so this is turning, so anywhere from 0 to 360. And let's run that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's what my code now does. So you can see all the little turtles randomly jumping around. Now you can see how they're kind of going off the screen, which is about what we expect. But then some of them come back on. That's what random is. We don't know what's going to happen. But that is pretty cool. That'd be kind of a nice little screensaver if I could figure out how to make a screensaver out of it. Yeah, let's close that. Can I do a Fourier series? Wow. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so the answer is probably no. Gaming with Suraz. Do you think a programmer should play video games in their free time? I think a programmer should do whatever they enjoy doing in their free time. And not just programmers. Regular people can do it too. So let's make this a smaller number. Let's try 20. 30. Okay, 30 it is. Yeah, this is kind of fun. Ooh, that's cool. So that's what that is. I did this in my last video as well. So I just kind of changed the numbers. They're just jumping around randomly, turning, you know, kind of a random amount each time. That's so cool. Yeah, I can just watch this for hours. It's kind of mesmerizing. But anyway, and so yeah, that was weird. But yeah, so it's basically just, you know, you basically just created the turtles, put them into a random position, got them set up, and then in the loop, I update the screen, and then just kind of move them forward 30 and turn at a random direction. That's about it. So, hey, hip hop. John, thanks so much. I'm really happy to hear that. Great to hear. And Illuminati, thank you so much. I do appreciate the feedback. As I said before, I make these videos for my students, and I'm really happy that people all around the world have, you know, basically found them helpful. So that really makes me happy. Yeah. So thanks so much, John, for sharing that, and Illuminati as well. Okay. Just out of curiosity, where is everybody tonight? Today, depending where you're at. It's nighttime for me. I'm in Tokyo, Japan. So it is 6:18 p.m. And also, let me put that back in. Let me just go up here a little bit. I'm not sure if it's gone now or what. Where did I put that? Yeah, if any of you guys are on Discord, you can join my Discord chat if you're interested. Ooh, wrong link. That doesn't work. Okay, Australia. Well, welcome. So we're almost in the same time zone. Hash tables. Infinity, are you talking about basically like hash maps in Java? Ooh, hacking Kivy. I do not know how to do Kivy. That's a really good question. It's on my to-do list, but because I generally teach beginners, I avoid things like Kivy that are a little bit complicated for beginners, and I stick to the turtle module and tkinter for the most part. Okay. Yeah, so Infinity, based on my understanding, yes. So let me kind of show you this here. So exit. Okay, so basically, yeah, so basically my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, but I think this is what you're asking. So for example, what you can do is make a dictionary. So here is what I usually use. So if I might say capitals equals, and for a dictionary, which is like a hash map, we use braces. Okay. End hacking GUI tutorial. I have one on my YouTube channel. Let's see if I can find a link for you. Naturally, no. There's one on my YouTube channel. If you look up Python guessing game, like GUI, something like that on my channel. It's written in Python 2.7, so you have to change, what's it called? Yeah, change tkinter to tkinter. Otherwise, it'll work fine in Python 3. Wow, Cleveland, very nice, D7. Welcome back, by the way. Sorry, back to hash maps for, who was asking about that? Infinity. So basically what we can do is we can associate a key and a value. So it's a key value pair. Okay, so we have got Australia here. What other countries do we have? So we got Australia, and the capital of Australia is Canberra. If I'm wrong on your capital, I apologize. I'm pretty sure that's correct. That's, yeah, like I said, D7. That's so cool. Very small world. Anybody else? What country are you guys from? If not, I'll just go ahead and just do the country I'm from, or in. Tokyo, Japan, Tokyo, and what else we got here? Yeah, okay, that's close enough too. So then what I can do is I can put them into an associative array. Ah, Melbourne, very nice. Ooh, and hacking. I don't do C. I do Python, Python basically. So, India. All right. So if you want to do the snake game in Python, it is here. So snake game. Okay, India. All right, let's do India. So say India, and the capital. I assume it's New Delhi, but is that right? Or did I spell it wrong? Delhi. If it's wrong, tell me, and I'll fix it. Okay, so how we do this? We say capitals, and I can say Australia, quote, and I'm just going to put a colon in the middle. Don't need a space, but you might want to put one, is Canberra. Capitals, oops, did that wrong. Capitals, equals Canberra. Yeah, and hacking, I do not know how to do C or C+. I cannot help you there. Okay, good. Glad I got that right. So Japan equals Tokyo. And I know I spelled it wrong. Capitals of India is New Delhi. Okay. And let me put back the capitals. Okay. So now what I can do is I just say print capitals. If I run that, here's what we get. Okay, so you can see here, Japan, the capital is Tokyo. Australia, the capital is Canberra. India, the capital is New Delhi. Now notice they are not in the order that I put them in. Okay, so depending on which version of Python you use, the order, you cannot count on the order to be the same. So this is called the key, and this is called the value. So the key for Japan, the value is Tokyo. So what I can do, I should be able to do is say for country, let's do key, let's do it easier, in capitals. Actually, let's do it without the loop first, sorry. So print capitals. So what I can do, I say print capitals, quote, and if I want to do Australia, it will give me the value, which is Canberra. So you can see that here. Pretty cool. Now I can loop through things. Say for key in capitals, print capitals key, and that will print out all of them. Tokyo, Canberra, and New Delhi. Actually, maybe it's a little bit easier if I do it like this: key, comma, capitals. And you can see it prints it right out for us. Japan, Tokyo, Australia, Canberra, and India, New Delhi. Very nice. Now I could also do here, I could put country, because these are countries. That's what our keys represent. And I could say country. Maybe makes your code a little bit easier. And, oops, key is not defined. What did I do wrong here? Ah, okay, capital. Country. Okay, so F5. There we go. That is that. So that is your, I think that answers your question there. Who was that? Infinity, yeah. So that's, yeah, so basically, yeah, they do exist. They're called dictionaries. They function roughly the same as they do in Java. Of course, Java's Java. It's got its own style. So it's a bit more strict. But anyway, so that is that. We got a question from Hemant. And if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. Yeah, sure. Let's do something about classes. Yeah, Infinity. You use keys to get the values, just like you do in associative array in Java, a hash map. Okay. Hey, Cosmic Ray. Oh, how many languages do you know? I would say, I mean, I know a bunch, like bits and pieces. Are you talking human languages or are you talking programming languages? So I assume programming. I'm best at Python. I'm getting there with Java. I'm okay. And then I know a little PHP. I know very little C. I know very little basic from back in the day. I know some PHP. But right now, basically, if you ask me, I'd say Python and a little bit of Java. Yeah. So anyway, classes in Python. Okay, Hemant, let's do a class. So for those of you who don't know what a class is a programming structure that defines an object. I don't know if that helps or not. So here's like a simple example. So if I say class, and this is the example I gave last time I did this, person. Okay, and now in Python 2 I have to put object here. Python 3 you do not. So person is an object, and I have to use def init, 2 underscores before and after. This is called the constructor. And I have to put self. Self refers to the current object. I'll show you that a little bit more. Ooh, Venu Harsha. I'm sorry, I do not know how to use NumPy. I have used it, but I don't know enough about it to teach it. Again, I focus on beginners. NumPy to me is not a beginner thing. Yeah. John, you can basically get any type of programming job using Python. Maybe not an iOS developer because they use Swift or Objective-C for the most part. But Python's in everything these days. Especially a lot of AI and data science is Python. In it itself. So a person has a name, and we'll say they also have a country. Let's do country. Okay. So then I say self.name equals name, and self.country equals country. So I've made a class, and it's called a person. Okay. Whoa, that's a tough one, Illuminati. I mean, they probably all can. You just got to structure your code not using a loop. You would use a what's that called? A delay, where it calls a method and it just keeps calling itself. I forget what it's called. Sorry, but yeah. And hacking. I'm not an advanced Python programmer myself. It's just like anything else. You just study. So who are we working here with? And Hemanth. Where did you say you're from? India? Okay. So I'm going to say Hemanth is a person. His name is Hemanth, and his country is India. Okay. So this matches this. Note this is capitalized. This is not. This is when I actually do this. This method is called. Okay. Self is Hemanth. So Hemanth.name, Hemanth.country. The person, So name, this goes here, and this goes here. So now what I can do is I can say print, Hemath dot country, name, and Hemath dot country. And if I run it, oh, got an error. Okay, beginners, read your error messages. Okay, it's telling me line 13. This is pointing to the area where there's a problem. I forgot to put the colon at the end. Okay, Cosmic Ray. If you ask me, for beginners especially, 100% Python. I teach them both Python and Java, but yeah. So Infinity, yeah, the init method is the class constructor in Python. Okay. Now, if this was Java, you would do person, right? But since this is Python, we put init. Okay. I'm going to run that again, and so we can see what happened here. So I said Hemath is a person. His name is Hemath, and he is from the country of India. And so then I printed. So it's the object name. This is the object. This is the class. Object dot name. That's this thing here. Okay. This is called dot notation. And I printed Hemath dot country, and that prints it right out. So that's how you do classes. That's basically it. I mean, there's other things we can do with it, but I think that might answer your question, at least to get you started. Okay, good questions. That's good stuff. Very, very fascinating. And one thing I like about this too is, I don't know everything. I learn a lot from this too. And let me get rid of some of these old windows. But yeah, the class constructor is init. And don't forget, it's 2 underscores, not just 1. If you have 1 underscore, you'll get an error. Hemath, you are very, very welcome. I hope that helps. Actually, you know what? If you want to learn more about classes, there is a really, really good video. I didn't make it. I couldn't make a better one, so I just show this one to my students. And let me find that for you. Socratic, their Python classes. Okay, came up my search history. Yeah, this is the video. This is the video to watch. Yeah. So yeah, Hemath, one more time. This is the video you should watch. Again, this is the one I show my students about classes. Most of the videos I show my students I made myself, but I couldn't do a better job than they did, so I stick with that one. Yeah, I'm with Infinity on this one, man. Yeah, Python all the way. Some operations on lists. Okay, I can try a little bit of list stuff. I don't know a lot about it, but okay, so let's exit that. Okay, so lists for what's it been? Harsha. All right, so I'm gonna make a list, and let's see here. What can I do? Well, we had a list earlier of colors, so I'm gonna go colors equals. Okay, so we got some red, orange, green, blue, indigo, red, orange, green, blue, indigo. Just yellow. That's it. And violet. And let me do it back to yellow. Okay, one thing we note about. Ooh, that's pretty cool, Hemath. If I print colors. Okay, you'll see that the colors are in the exact same order that I put them in. Okay, so this tells us that lists are ordered. So the order is very, very important. Okay, so if I want to get one of the colors, so let's say I want to get yellow. Okay, now what you would think, if you've never done programming before, you'd think, well, 1, 2, 3. So I say print colors 3, and you might expect 1, 2, 3 yellow, but what we actually get is green. Okay, it's because the index, this is called the index starts here at 0. So 0 is red, 1 is orange, yellow is 2. Let me try that. Yellow. There you go. Okay. Now, we can do something called a list slice. So let's say I wanted yellow and green. So 0, 1, 2. Let's start at 2. Put a colon there. And I'm going to put 3 here. So you'd think that it would give you 3. But let's test that. And it does not. So you have to go 1 past. So 2, 4. So the 2, 0, 1, 2 is what we call inclusive. So it includes 2. And it does not include 4, exclusive. So now if I do that, I get yellow and green. That's called a list slice. Okay. Oh, Infinity, I do not have a schedule. Yeah, I'm just streaming now and then. I'm very, very busy, and I just happen to have like an hour or so to kill here, and I thought I'd jump online and do a quick stream. But this is probably the time you'll see me most often, between now and maybe a couple hours from now, because it's evening my time, so after work. So Ishan, I'm just doing some live coding and helping people out. I'd appreciate it if you'd avoid that type of language. I teach middle school students, so I want to keep this clean, okay? So a couple things I do with lists. I could do for color in colors. Oh, interesting. Print color, and that will print our colors one at a time. Let me run that, show you that. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Let's do that. I'm curious about that myself. And notice it's American spelling. Sorry, no U. Colors 2, -1. Oops, -1. Yikes. And print. Did I do that right? Fudge. What did I do wrong here? Colors. There we go. Okay, well that's interesting. It gave us yellow, green, blue, and indigo. Okay, so basically what happened is when you do -1, okay, this is 0, so -1 is the last item on the list. Okay, so what we have here is no different from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is the same as doing 2 and 6 because 6 is the last item. So it's a nice thing, like in Python, with the list indices, you can go into negative numbers. It doesn't work in other languages that I know of. I mean, there may be a language, but I don't think it works in Java. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanks. Thanks for asking that question. Illuminati, yes, I do speak Japanese. I'm not fluent, but I'm pretty functional. But all my classes are in English. I teach in an English environment. No, I don't watch Coding Train. Sorry, I missed that. And but it's probably one of those things I should do. So I just don't, but I should. Yeah, I got to learn a little bit more. But like right now, my biggest worry is learning a bit more Java because I'm teaching it this year. So I've been studying, and also I'm doing grad school for computer programming or computer science. Oh, another thing. Here's something you can do with colors. So I can say print len of colors, and then it'll tell us how many nani. Ma sone. Tell us how many we have. So there are 7 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can actually do this. It's pretty cool too. We can do put the next one. Say colors.sort. Print. Let's see what happens here. I'm not 100% sure. F5. And then, okay, that did do what I do. So it sorted them. You noticed in alphabetical order. So blue, green, indigo, orange, red, violet, yellow. Okay, so you can automatically sort. Then you can actually do colors.reverse. Say print colors. And run that. And it does this. And then it reverses whatever the current order is. So you got BGIORVY and BGIORVY. Pretty cool. John, that is a good start. Yeah, infinity, exactly. If you don't know the size of the array, you just use -1. It's very, very convenient. Whereas in Java, you'd have to do the length of it. It's not a big deal, but do something like adding something to each element in a list. Okay. Well, let's try that. I'm not sure. How can we do that? Okay. So I'm going to try it, Venu Harsha. We'll see what happens. So for... Yeah, Corey Schaefer's great. Yeah, I'm a fan. I in range length of colors. Okay. So what this does is I starts... I'll show you. I'll say print I. Okay, so I starts at 0, which is going to be red. And then it goes all the way... Oops, didn't want to move that. Wrong window, sorry. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which corresponds to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something like this. I'm going to say temp equals colors I. Temp plus equals add space color. Why not? And I'm going to say colors I equals temp. And then what I'll do down here is when that loop is over, I'll say print colors. Actually, let me go ahead and print colors here first. Print colors. Okay, so let me just explain that real quick again. This is for Venu Harsha. Input number gets inverted. Sorry, Cosmic Ray, what does inverted mean? Okay, so in this context. So basically you got colors, and then I say temp equals colors I. So temp would equal red. And then I add space color to red, so it should say red color. And then I say colors I equals temp. I think this will do what you're asking. Yeah, okay. So you can see, so I iterated through the whole loop, said red, changed it to red color, and then assigned it back. So that just adds color to each of those text strings. Okay. Yeah, so Cosmic Ray, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like 1, 2, 3 equals 3, 2, 1? elif, John, okay. Yeah, I just actually, coincidentally, I just taught this to my students today. Yeah, so that's kind of good timing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and exit here and scroll all this stuff down. Oops. Alrighty. Okay, so let me do elif. Well, Cosmic Ray, I'll just do your thing real quick. Now, there's a way to do it with like numbers, but I can tell you exactly how I do it in Python. I kind of cheat because Python's so convenient. The number way, I can never remember how to do it, so it's a little bit more complicated. But so what I can do here is I can say like number equals 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert that to a string equals str number. My keyboard is a very old Microsoft keyboard, Comfort Curve 2000. I've had it forever, and I need to get a new one. It's a little noisy, I think, for broadcast, but okay. So now that it's a string, what I can do is I can just I can do a slice like this. So I can say reverse string. I think I can do this equals number string plus minus 1. And this is cryptic, and I know it's not going to make a lot of sense, but this actually works, I think. So there's 3, 2, 1. So yeah, I kind of cheated a little bit. So print number. This is a way to do it in Python. Now I know you're probably asking how do you do it with numbers and all that sort of thing. I can never remember because you got to divide it and then use the modulus and blah 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 blah. But yeah, this is the gist of this. This is one way of doing what you're asking. But I could have shortened this. I could have just done something like number equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and just say print. Let's see. How can I do it? St. I wonder if this will work. Number ::(-1). That might work. I know. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I'm kind of curious. Print number. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Hemath's got it. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it kind of works. But again, because I teach beginners, I usually write out every single step, just so they get used to, okay, I need to convert it to a string first, then I reverse the string using the slicing method, and then I print it out. But yeah, you can combine things. Yeah, I could have put 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and just done it that way. And it would do the same thing. Oops, I think I said 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that number. There. Okay. LF, John. This is for John. Good questions. Good questions. Let's see here. Exit. Okay. So basically, we got if, elif, and else. That's how conditionals work. So here's the example I did with my students today. So I say age equals, let's say your age. John, do you want to say how old you are, or just give me a number? It doesn't matter. I'll leave that there for now. And so then, like, basically, let's say we do this. So if your age is less than 25, print. Okay, so John, you're 18. So say print, hey, wow, or say you are still young. Okay. So let me run that, just make sure it works. Okay, so John's under 18, so he's still young. Congratulations. And I say elif. Well, let's do it this way. Let's do else first. Else, print, sorry, you are getting old. If the dividing line is 25, as many of my younger students think. So you're still young, and then if I say the age is 25, okay, sorry, you're getting old. Or I can say age is, let's say, 35. If I run it, you are getting old. Because 35 is not less than 25. Okay? So the question was, what about elif? Okay, so we do elif age is greater than, we do greater than or equal to 25. I can do it like that. Sorry, you're getting old. But how I usually explain this one is, what if I do this? I say if the age is greater than 25, sorry, you're getting old. But what if I put 25 exactly? What happens here? So think about it. Is 25 less than 25? No. Is it greater than 25? No. So nothing gets printed. Okay, so what I would do here in this case, I'd say else print, you could go either way. All right. So if it's not less than 25, it's not greater than 25, well, the only thing left is 25. So I'm going to run that, and you could go either way. So basically, elif, just gives you a bunch of different possibilities. So you can do, but basically these are all connected. This is one statement. So if you're less than 25, this is skipped and this is skipped. Okay. If you're over 25, okay, it skips the print. It checks this. Okay, you're not over. It goes here, executes this, and then it's done. Okay, good, John. I'm glad. Let me check out. If you haven't seen my basic introduction to Python, you should really check it out. Here, I'll give you a link here, bud. This goes over John basic Python 3. This will go over all these little basic language things. Definitely check it out. It's a good tutorial. It's what I show my students. I actually have them do it over the summer before the school year starts, and they just come in with just enough foundational knowledge to really get started. And it's a good review if you haven't done it. It's basic, but I think it'll probably help you. Okay, check that out when you get a chance. But yeah, thanks. That's a good question. It's always good to review this stuff. So next. Okay, good stuff. ASMR. Anybody else got any questions? Hope I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I did that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I got everything else. Okay, anybody else? No more questions. I've answered every Python question in the world. Oh God, Venu-Harsha, inheritance. Okay. Okay, to do inheritance, I'm going to go back down to this example. Okay, so I'm going to just copy that and bring it back up to the top. So let's look at inheritance. Inheritance. Okay, so inheritance is kind of considered an advanced topic, but in a way it's very, very simple. So I'm going to keep using advanced. So let's say we've got a person. Okay. So let's see here. What can we do? Okay. So let's do a student. I think it's the example I used last time as well. So I'm going to say class student. And I'm going to put in here, instead of object, I'm going to put person. Now note, for Python 3, you don't need to put object. This is a Python 2 thing. Colon. And I'm going to say def init. Okay, so we need the same information. Name, country. And let's say for a student, we also have school name. Okay, so we'll call it school. So because that student goes to school. So what we need to do, now watch what I do here, is we need to basically call the parent class constructor. So this is the parent class. This is the child class. So what I'm going to do is, and this is the way I usually do it. There's other ways to do it, but this is the way I usually do it. It's just I like it to make it clear. So dot init self name and country. Hey Ron, welcome back. Good to see you. Hola. And then what I'll do is I'll say self.school equals school. Okay, so let me do an example here. So I'll say, let's see. So Venu-Harsha equals a student. The name is Venu-Harsha. Yeah. And again, my apologies if I've mispronounced anything. Venu-Harsha. Country, Venu-Harsha, where are you from? Say unknown. And school, we'll say Harvard. Why not? It's a good school. So then what I can do now is print. I'm just going to copy that. And dot school. Okay, so I'm going to run that and see what happens. Okay. So if you notice what happened here. Oh, you're from India? Okay, so I'll put you down for India as well. Okay, I'm gonna run that again just to get India representing. So you can see here, Hemanth is a person. Okay, Venu-Harsha is a student. But notice we said the student is a child class of person. So because it's a child class, it inherits. So this information is also here because we initialized it and we said it was a child class here. So basically anything that we change here also applies to the student. So so a person could have a name, country, age, date, blah blah blah. So everything that we add here. So let's say we wanted to add self.age equals age. Age, and then let's see, Venu-Harsha, Hemanth, we'll say, where's he at there? We're going to say, 18, just give you a number. And then here we're going to say name, country, school, name, country, age, school. Now put your age here. In the order, you can play around with the order a little bit, but, and then here I have to put age as well, because this has to match this. And then if I run it, actually, I'll put the H thing in here. Comma, headmount, age, and Belarusia dot H. So we run that, and there we go. Okay. So what you see here is, even though I don't mention, I don't have to put here self.age equals blah blah blah. I could, but because it's inheriting it from the parent class, which is person, as long as I make a change here and instantiate it here and add that, it's fine. So that's the basis of inheritance. Okay, so the child class inherits something from the parent class. I was getting confused about calling a function inside a class, like this class.function. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm not 100% sure about that one myself. Yeah, D7. Yeah, sorry, I'm not 100% sure about that one, so I can't help you with that one right now. I'd have to look that one up before I could talk about that. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's a weird one. I know I've done it, but I've had trouble with that every time I've done it too. I always have to like play around with it until I get it right. D7. Any thoughts about switching to Twitch or Mixer? Yeah, probably the answer to that is going to be no. Just because I have my YouTube channel set up, and it's just I honestly just don't have the time to, start streaming in other places. I don't know anything about monetization and stuff on Twitch or Mixer, so I'm pretty happy with doing this. Yeah, sorry, we'll just have to like deal with the delay a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll have to just deal with that. Sorry about that. Maybe someday. If this channel blows up, I get 1 million followers, and I do it full time, I will do Twitch. But for now, I think I'm going to have to stick with YouTube. Ooh, Illuminati. I would definitely, personally, I consider them intermediate in a way. I mean, this type of stuff's pretty basic, but I think conceptually, classes are pretty hard for beginners to understand. At least I know my students have trouble with it, and they're pretty smart. So yeah, I don't think it's a beginner thing. I'd say like right when you start doing classes and object-oriented, that's when you're getting to, maybe we can be generous and call it advanced beginner, that sort of thing. Okay, Python crash course. Yeah, cool. So yeah, now the way you use them, Illuminati, I mean, you can use anything in an advanced way, I guess. But definitely I think classes are a bit more towards between beginner and intermediate. Because there's just so much you can do with it. And it's just hard. Like, even when I read other people's code that's really object-oriented, written well, yeah, it takes a while to wrap my head around it, to be honest. Because I grew up, doing languages like BASIC that didn't have objects, that weren't object-oriented. So it was quite a difficult transition to move over to that. Especially now that I'm teaching Java, where everything has to be an object. Thanks, Java. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated. But again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Okay, it's been 1 hour. I'm just gonna grab a drink quick. I'll be right back. So talk quietly amongst yourselves. You are welcome. Oh, Ron, that's great news. Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. I love that there's other people teaching, and I love that there are, people learning from those tutorials. That's great news. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. We had books, and that was about it, magazines. And I think it's just great. There's so much information out there, and that we can share it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So good on you, Ron. Well, so we got a lot of Australians here. That's kind of nice. I guess it's a little early in the U.S. In the U.S., it's probably about 5 or 6 a.m. on the East Coast and 2 or 3 on the West Coast. So, but I'm in Tokyo, so that's kind of why I'm on right now. So yeah, are there any other questions I can answer before I get running here? Any last quick ones? yeah, pretty much. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. Yeah, I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude! I so sound like a teacher." But I am a teacher, so that's probably why. And yeah, I use that phrase all the time. Okay, cool. Yeah, Ron, good luck with that. Yeah, it's funny, that Space Invaders tutorial. It was like one of the first ones I did, and it was, it just, I was just kind of experimenting with teaching online and doing videos, and it's good, but it's not great, and yeah, I just if I had known it would be so popular, still to this day, it's my number one video. It's that tutorial, and I think the Snake game's better. I think Pong's better, and that sort of thing. Cosmic Ray while loops. Okay, well, that's okay. We do that. Exit. All right. So basically, all I'm doing here with exit is just I'm stopping the program because we got all this stuff that we did earlier. So I don't want to run it. I just want to run the part that I'm doing now. So while loops. All right, while loops. Okay, so a while loop. It's basically what it sounds like. Great to hear that, Ron. So a for loop is called a definite loop. We know when it's going to end. So for example, for something in range 1000, we know this is going to execute 1,000 times. Now a while loop is a little bit different because we don't know when it's going to stop executing. It's called an indefinite loop. So for example, let's say I've got x equals 10. Okay. So then I say while I need to have a condition. So I say while x is greater than 0, colon, I'm going to do something. So I'll say print x in this case. Now, what you got to be careful as a beginner is not to do this by itself, because what happens is it's going to run forever. Because is 10 greater than 0? Yes. Print 10. Come back around. Is 10 greater than 0? Yep. Print. It's just going to go and go and go. So what you got to do is do x minus equals 1, and that subtracts 1 from x each time. So if I run that, we get 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now if I wanted to include 0, I would do if x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So basically, as long as this condition is true, it will keep running. As soon as it's not, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0 is greater than or equal to 0, correct? And then it goes to minus 1. Is minus 1 greater than or equal to 0? Nope. And then it drops down out of the loop and continues with the rest of the code. Oh, Vinoharsha, that is fantastic news. I'm really, glad to hear that. I think, like the Snake game I was really pretty proud of. I thought that was a really well done video compared to some of my older stuff. And I hope that YouTube starts promoting that one a little bit more. Thanks, YouTube. So, so that's basically a while loop. That's, I don't know what else to tell you, Cosmic Ray. That's basically how it works. Yeah, it's a little bit warm here, Ron, and there's crickets outside. I'm sorry, I did not realize the microphone was that what's it called? Sensitive. I had to open the window. It's warm here. I didn't want to turn the air conditioner on. It's a little warm. We've actually got a typhoon coming, so this weekend. So no, I'm sorry, I don't know what 3B, 1B is. I apologize. Easy text game. So, John, what are you talking about text game? What kind of thing are you thinking there? Okay. Well, John, I mean, here's like a very, very simple. This is super simple. There's way better ways to do it, but let's try it real quick. Let's say room equals 1. Let's do it like this. This is super duper simple, and we'll go from there. So say while true. Okay. So if room equals 1, okay, print. You are, standing in front of a mailbox. So, for example, print, what would you like to do? And so then we can do like input. So let's say command equals. Now I'm using Python 2, so I'm putting raw input. If you're on Python 3, use input. But I'm on Python 2 because my grad school uses it for some strange reason. Raw input. Actually, I say put that here. What is your command? Get rid of that. Okay, and then I can put an if statement here. So if command equals open mailbox, print, you open the mailbox and read the letter, it says you are in danger. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Then we can do the elif. Command equals, let's see, I don't know, go north. I know I'm simplifying this really a lot. Go north, room equals 2. Okay, so I say if room equals 2, print, you are at the door of a house. Something like that. You can kind of see where I'm going like this. What is your command? Now this is not good structure at all, but this kind of gives you the idea. Did I miss a parenthesis? Yeah, I did. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's, the question mark doesn't go there. How did I do that? I did that twice. Because I copy and pasted. Duh. Okay, so let's run that, see what happens. Okay, you're standing in front of a mailbox. So my choices are, so I do nothing, blah, blah. It just does that. So I say open mailbox. Says you're in danger, you're standing in front of a mailbox. What is your command? Go north. You're at the door. You can kind of see how it works. Again, this is not the best method at all. But it'll work. This is something that you could do and not, and you can actually do a pretty decent little game out of something like that. I do have a tutorial. Let me see if I can find it for you. I started making this a long time ago, and I never finished it because I realized that there was a better way to do it, and I never got around to actually doing the better version. So let me find it here for you. It's on my, I think it's on my website. So let me just find that for you here. Yeah, I think it's on my blog. Here, I'll show you. This is my blog. Tic-tac-toe. Interactive fiction. There you go. So there's interactive fiction in Python Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. So you can see this is from a long time ago, 2014. I'm much better at Python now. So you can see how I did it. And again, I'm kind of embarrassed because it's not really good code, but I'll leave the link here for you. So you can kind of play around with that and maybe make something out of it. Yeah. So this is for @John. There you go. Hey, there's me. How did I learn to code? Ron, I'm one of those people that I started to code as a child, and I was just really interested in computers. I got my first computer when I was 9, And that's not, I know these days, big deal. Everybody gets a computer. But you have to consider this was in the early 80s. So I was pretty much the first kid in my neighborhood to have a computer. It was a very small, very underpowered computer. But I basically just, started doing that. And just, taught myself to code. And then got away from it. And then, just something I've been teaching it and basically self-taught until about 2 years ago. I started taking classes, undergrad, online. And then I transferred to a graduate program earlier this year. So I'm doing, graduate program. And it's tough. Cosmic Ray, good question. Easy to explain. X equals 4. Okay. So in this case, there is one equal sign. So I'm assigning a value. So I'm telling you, I'm not asking you, I am telling you that X equals 4. Okay. So if I run that, X is 4. Okay. 2 equal signs are only used in conditionals. So I say if X equals 4, print X equals 4, for example. Else print X does not equal 4. Okay. So F5, X equals 4. And I'm going to try this again. I'll change this to 6. F5. X does not equal 4. Very simple. So how I tell the students is 1 equal sign, I'm assigning a value. 2 equal signs, I am comparing a value. Comparing values. That helps. So 2 equal signs, values. 1 equal sign, value. Okay. That's it. Sorry, no, I do not know who Lex Friedman is, Hamath. What's best for writing code on Windows, OS X, or Linux? I'm very biased, as you can probably guess. I'm a Linux user. This is Ubuntu. I'm a big fan of open source. I believe in the open source philosophy. And I would choose Linux every time. Now, that said, if you're developing for Windows, you're probably going to use Windows. If you're developing for OS X, you're going to want to use OS X. If you're developing for Linux, probably Linux. If you're doing web development or cross-platform development, it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, so it's really whatever you're comfortable with. But again, if you don't use Linux, I strongly recommend giving it a shot. This is Ubuntu. I'm using Ubuntu here, and I'm a big fan. It's fast, it's safe, secure, it does everything I need. So you're welcome, Ray. And then John, you are very helpful. You're very welcome, I should say. It's fun stuff. Writing text adventures. I had this text adventure. I don't know if it's still available. Let me see if I can find it. You guys might find it interesting. Christian Thompson. It's on my website too somewhere, but I forget where. Let me see if I can find this sucker. Might be actually on the same link. Let me go back one more time here. See if I still have it. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I made this thing literally 10 years ago. And I hope I don't get sued, but I just made a little story, a little text adventure. This is written in JavaScript. Now, if you know anything about websites, you can go here and you can view the code somewhere. Web developer, and I should be able to see where's view source. Maybe not. Page source. There we go. So if you look at it, basically what I just showed you that is basically a copy of this style from JavaScript into Python. But basically, this is like an old school text adventure. You hit enter, and you just type help, and there's just some of the commands. So if you've never done like Zork or something like that, it looks like this. So you can type look. Okay, so you got Dumbledore, you got a magic mirror, and so so it's very simple. Just say ask Dumbledore. And it says Ron and Hermione were kidnapped by Lord Voldemort. Take this magic amulet. It will glow when you get close to your friends. When you find them, say return us. Don't forget this part. That's very important. And you see an amulet. So I can get the amulet. And you can see that popped up over here. I can examine the amulet. Okay, it doesn't really do much. I could drop the amulet if I don't need it anymore, but I do need that. Get an amulet. Then I might examine the mirror. And it says, the mirror is bigger than you and has a gold frame. There is some ancient writing on the frame. It says, to useth this mirror, saith thou Tralfaz. So I type, say Tralfaz. And then now I am glowing. I'm floating towards the mirror, and I find myself on a path. And the north, you can see trees. South, you can see a river. And the east is the castle of Lord Voldemort. So I can just go here and just click, and I can move around. And so the green letters tell you which way you can go. There's a bottle. There's a bunch of different challenges. You got to basically rescue Ron and Hermione. Something I made a long time ago for my students. Oh, sorry. Let me get the link. Well, it's basically from the link to that is it's on that same page I sent you earlier. It's on my interactive fiction page. But yeah, here's the Harry Potter game, and I hope I don't get sued. Hope J.K. Rowling has a sense of humor. Yeah, cool. I have never actually read it, but everybody that I hear from says it is a good book. It's on my to-do list, but I kind of just learn things on my own. I'm a little bit different that way, I guess. And Robert, you're very welcome. And John, there's a link. Yeah, I like Harry Potter. I'm not a huge fan. I'm more of a science fiction person than fantasy. But yeah, Harry Potter's cool. And Ron, thanks. Yeah, it was fun. Actually, I did a project with my students. This is about 10, 12 years ago, using that, and the students actually made their own text adventures. I was really proud of them. They did a great job. But it was hard. It was a long project. But again, if I were writing it now, I would probably do it differently. Best way to improve coding skills, man. Venom Harsha, there is no secret sauce, bro. Practice, practice, practice. Follow tutorials till you're comfortable, and then try to make something that you are interested in. You start out by following other people's code, copying it exactly. Then you change the code a little bit, see what happens, learn how it works, and then you just start making your own stuff. You can take classes, go to college, etc., which is good. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to just practicing. It's like playing guitar, shooting baskets. It's all practice. There's no secret. Learning a foreign language, there's no secret. It's just hard work, time, and effort is about it. I wish it were easier. I wish it was like the Matrix. You could just download stuff, but I'd be out of a job, of course. But yeah, that's the dream. Okay, good questions. Anybody else? I'm definitely gonna have to log out here soon. But those are good questions. I had fun. Actually, I'd totally forgotten about that Harry Potter thing. Okay. Thanks, Hamanth. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah. Thanks. Oh, G7. That's a really good question. This is actually something I try to get across to my students, and I do it too. I'm not criticizing them. When you have something you're supposed to code. Ron, we did dictionaries earlier. If you go back, once this is done, you'll be able to scroll back and you go in. I did a little thing on dictionaries right here I forget who asked that question. So yeah, if you go back, you can see that one there. Yeah, D7. So if you're smart, if you're not in a rush, basically, yeah, you definitely brainstorm. You write out, what are, if it's a game, what are the objects I need? Okay, I need a player. Okay, I need an enemy. I need this and that. Okay, then you can kind of, so from that, you can start, writing your classes. This is the parent class. This is the child class. If you're going to do it that way. Or you can keep it a little bit simpler. If you check out my Space War tutorial, I think that's done with classes. I also have a simple Python game with classes. Kind of goes through that a little bit as well. But like, yeah, you really should like sit down and think about it. You know, what needs to happen. You know, and there's always that basic structure. You know, you gotta initialize your game. You know, that has to come first. So you know, create this. You know, you create the screen. You're gonna need to create the objects. This could be players, enemies, goals, etc., etc. You know, load your sounds probably depending on what you're using, and then you basically like, okay, so then you got your main game loop. Okay, so what are you gonna do in there? You're gonna, you know, get input. You know, just some basic things. You know, check for collisions. You know, move stuff. You know, move stuff. Why does it keep doing that? You know, time. You know, there's anything you need to check for. Do that, and then yeah. So basically, you got to figure out what the conditions are for each thing, what happens here and there. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's always good to brainstorm a little bit. In my Python class, I have the students actually draw the game that they're gonna create. I have them write down all the objects. I have them write down, you know, what sounds they're gonna need, and then I have them do an outline of the program on paper and a drawing. And then once they do that, then they can start, you know, checking things off. Okay, I need this, I need that, and they start programming. And it works pretty well. But you know, just, you know, people in general, not just young people, not just students, but people just want, I just want to get in there and code because that's the fun stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what I generally recommend. Ron, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. Gokul, is web dev with Python worth learning? Yes. Why not? Python's used in a lot of websites now, at least on the back end. Not so much the front end because it's still JavaScript. But yeah, definitely stuff like Flask is really big. Flask is like a web development framework. Definitely worth learning, but I could be wrong. It's whatever works for you, man. Yeah, Vinamarsha, data science, can't help you there. I would just, you know, when I get around to it, I'll probably do one of the MOOCs, like Coursera or edX or something like that, and just learn it. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You're welcome, D7. Again, you know, I'm by no means an expert on this subject. You know, I teach it, but I'm still learning. You know, I'm a student myself, so everything I say, please check with somebody else who knows more. Okay. Okay, let me go back to Ron. Pythagorean theorem. That is a great question. So basically, let me explain that. How can I explain this? Okay, so let's say I've got on my screen, I've got, you know, this could be an asteroid, this could be the player, it doesn't matter. Let's make this the player, let's make this asteroid, doesn't matter. So everything in a game has an XY coordinate. Okay, so let's say the XY coordinate is like, let's say 0, 0. So let's say this is in the middle, and then this is at 0, 1. Let's say 1, 0. Let's say this is 50. Okay, so let's say this is at 100, 0. Okay, so those are XY coordinates. Okay, so what beginners think, generally speaking, is okay, all I have to do is compare the center of the object. Okay, so basically what they're thinking is, okay, once OO is on top of XX exactly, key there is the exactly, then it's a collision. So we've got 0, 0. Okay, so XX is under there, it's because OO is on top of it. Okay, so now this could happen, but again, what if this is 0, 1 and this is 2? They're really, really close. Okay, I can't show it here because it's text, but they're really, really close, but they're not exact. Okay, so what the Pythagorean theorem lets us do is it lets us measure the distance from the center here to the center there. Okay, so in this case, so that would be like math.sqrt. So it's a squared plus b squared square root. So a is the, in this case, it'll be 0 minus 0 squared plus 0 minus 100 squared square root. Okay, so the distance here is going to be 100. That's it. That's easy to calculate. Okay, now we have to ask ourselves, how big are these objects? So in this case, let's say this object is from the center to the edge is 25. Let's make it easy. And from the center to the edge here is 25. Okay. So it's 100, but it's actually 100 minus 50 because we got 0 plus 25 and 0 or 100 minus 25. Okay, so the distance between them is actually 50. The center distance is like that. Okay, but the actual distance from the edge is going to be 50. So if I move this here, let's say 0, 0. I can't display it well because it's text again. It's a bad example. So in this case, we got 25, 50. So that's going to be basically 50. Okay. And so in this case, it's 0. Okay. So that's why I said, like, so if that distance between the two, and I chose 20 because the size, because the way it was 10 and 10 because they were 20 across and 20 down. If I said it's less than, I think 15 is what I used. That tells us it's a collision, basically. So yeah, so you're basically measuring the distance from the center, but because the centers never actually line up exactly, you have to measure the distance and use some kind of threshold like this. And it's basically the center to the edge of both objects. And that's why I chose 15, because it's actually 20, but 15 gives you like a pretty good collision check. Yeah, hope that helps. That's the gist of it. And that works with 2D objects that are roughly square or circular. Now, there's other ways of doing collisions, but that's the basic, simplest one. Okay, I think I'm going to sign off. It's been an hour and a half now. My voice is a little tired, and I do have work tomorrow, and I got to teach all day. So thanks to everybody for coming. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated. I doubt I'll do it tomorrow night because of I got a long day. So maybe Friday or Saturday. We're actually expecting a big typhoon here on Saturday night, so we'll see how the internet holds up. Usually things are pretty good where I live. But from the west of here, it's pretty bad. Yeah, Ron, it's center and the edge. Yeah. So you're basically, it's you got to figure out the distance from the center to the edge of both objects and then take that into account. Because you want to see, because the edges could overlap, but not the centers. Yeah. So yeah, you got it. You got it, Ron. Good job. Okay. Have a good one, people, and I'll see you on the internet. John, you are very, very welcome. I appreciate you guys stopping by and appreciate the questions. Yeah, John, and I hope you enjoy the Voldemort's Revenge. That was something I made such a long time ago, and I had a really good time doing it. And then I try to kind of talk about how to... Actually, the Python thing is actually how to recreate parts of that. But again, it was written in Python 2.7, so yeah, some of this stuff is a little bit old. It won't work in Python 3. You got to make a few changes. Yeah. So, but yeah, check it out. See what you think. And everybody else, yeah. Have a good night. Illuminati, take care. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. Keep me company. Good. Thanks, John. All right, take care, people. I'm out of here. Ciao.